everybody, and welcome to episode 54 of All About African Violets. All About African Violets is musically sponsored by Ted Yoder. You can hear and purchase his wonderful music on his website at tedyoder.com. It's also available from iTunes. Hi everybody, come on into my sunroom. I have a brand new sun hat, so I thought I would wear it for a little while and share it with you guys. I'm always very happy when I can find a hat that fits my great big head. I have a really big head, thanks to my mom. Her head was even bigger around than mine is. So when I find a hat that actually fits, I'm so happy. I often get it in more than one color, but I only got this one in this color. It's really a cool hat. You can like crush it and pack it. It's got a cute little like ribbon in the back. I don't know. I'm very happy, very excited about it. Anyway, I just thought I'd share it with you because every once in a while I just have to put a hat on. So I'm going to go with regular notes because once again I'm in my sunroom. It's late in the day. I'm spending my Saturday evening with you guys. One of my favorite things to do. And I've got lots to share with you again this week. So let's get started. You're here, you're in the sunroom, you're relaxed, it's great. I am working very hard to get everything packaged up to send out to you this week. So I do appreciate your patience. I am going as quickly as I can. It took me until the weekend to get the envelopes I needed to put the carabiners in. So everything else should be ready to go on Monday. The books and things are going to come directly from the AVSA, so I'm going to be in touch with the office on Monday and get that set up for you as well. And the shells will come directly from Beautiful Views. So thank you again, all of you, for the great comments you left on episode 52, on the anniversary episode. You asked a lot of great questions on that episode, and you left me some great ideas for things you would love to see in the future. I will answer those questions. In the meantime, I have caught up with all the questions from last week's episode, where I could write the answer for you on the website, and I will try to keep caught up going forward. But back on 52, I will catalog all those and get them answered in the coming weeks here on the podcast. So yay. Now, I did want to reassure you guys, though, of one thing, because I really kind of icked it's kind of hard to tell if I icked my hair up once because I have this haircut. But a lot of you said that you really love seeing the interviews. And I wanted to just reassure you real quickly that yes, there will be more interviews. I try to get interviews when I'm at an event. I get as many as I can, and then I kind of stockpile them and I hold them and share them with you over time. I will tell you that next weekend I am going to Indiana to visit Dr. Jeff Smith and interview him. So he'll be on the podcast very, very soon. Maybe not next weekend, but very, very soon thereafter. So keep watching and you'll see plenty of interviews because I got some great ones at National that you guys haven't seen yet, and I haven't spilled the beans on them yet, so you'll be surprised when you see them. So let's move on to tips and treasures, because I know that last week was a pretty long episode, and I'm trying to keep this episode from being really, really long again, because I continued with the footage that I started last week, and I'm going to show you a little bit more grooming, probably nothing quite as extreme as Rob's Wagga Wagga, which is actually right here, and you'll see it on the shelf in just a little while, but during the look at what's on the stands. But I think you can tell already that it's those leaves that were crumpled up in the center. Most of them are looking good. I still see a couple of little dead ones that I didn't get all the way off last time, and you'll find those after a week. Here, it's hard to see because they're in my fingers, but you'll see them within a week. And new crowns are already trying to form. It's already trying to bloom. So I just wanted to reassure you about that right away. And you'll see another close-up of it during the look at what's on the stands. So the plants you're going to see this time, you're going to see Grape Glory, because you'll remember I showed you that it was looking very crooked, so you're going to see me groom that. You're going to see me work on Optimara, Michigan, which I mistake for Western Moon, because they do look pretty similar here on the stands. And but you'll see Optimara, Michigan. You'll also see Optimara, Hawaii. And it's time to go take a look. So I'll see you on the other side. Hi everybody. Today I'm down in the basement and I am going to do some more grooming, and this is Grape Glory. You've seen it upstairs on the shelves, and it's blooming again. It's blooming very nicely, but we're not going to let it bloom. We're going to take those away. Now this plant seems to be, there's one more in there. There we go. Here's the crown on this plant right here, and this plant is tilting this way. It's growing that way. So now I've turned it to try to get it right on the camera so you can see it. Sorry, that's the dryer buzzing. Here's the crown right here. So can you see that it's got a whole lot of stuff over here, and it's leaning, it's like leaning over this way. So I can see another blossom stalk coming that I'm going to take, because I don't want it to bloom. So actually, let me look carefully. I want this to grow. I think this has the potential to be a much larger plant than it already is. All right. So the first thing we want always when we're thinking about repotting is always that bottom row of leaves. For me, I generally will remove that. So let's start there. I'm just taking the outermost leaves all the way around. And all of a sudden, it already looks better. Here's the crown. It already has begun to look a little more even, but we've still got some extras over here. I don't have my cards down here, but take a look. If I just put my hands there, if I take those, this plant becomes almost completely round. How great is that? So let's get rid of those. We don't need them. And they are distorting the symmetry of the plant. And we've got one other, this one right here. So if we take that one, we have a very nice plant. This one could maybe go, let's see. Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, what a difference just in taking that row, that bunch of leaves off. All right, so these are the things. Now I let that one sit on the stand way too long because this is a good sized pot for it. It doesn't really need to be repotted yet, but now there's nothing underneath here pushing it up. Do you see? Because before the leaves were pushing it, it looked very close together because they were having to, I potted it a little low in the pot. Once I remove those, watch, everything opens right back up and lays down, opens up in the center. So I really wanted to show that to you because it's so important. All right, I've got another standard I want to show to you. And it's over here. It's become a real favorite of mine. This is this is Optimara, Michigan. I thought this was Western Moon, which is one of my favorites. They look very similar in this form. All right, this is Optimara, Michigan, getting ready, wanting to bloom. And I just want to show you here, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This little blossom stalk had 10 blossoms on it. So that's telling me that this plant I mean, even though it had a little trouble initially earlier this year, it just didn't kind of bloom in time. Guys, this is going to be a great show plant. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, another 10. So right there, 20 blossoms. All right, and there's likely a third one over here. So we're talking a good head of blossom on this plant. So let's just take those out. We're going to do the same thing here. Oh, there's another one. Hiding. It's hiding in there. There we go. Got it. Teeny weenies. All right. I'm going to do the same thing with this one that I just did with Grape Glory. So also, I mean, you can see this leaf. Can you see? There's some getting lighter. It's haloing, but it's not really. It's looking like it's kind of losing its grip around the edge here. This happens sometimes with older leaves. So this is also part of the reason that we groom. So, oh ho, wait till you see what's hiding under here. All right, you guys, I'm gonna see if I can get this out because holy mackerel. This is a great teaching time. This, my friends, is a sucker. And this is the true definition of a sucker because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaves. All right, if the judges had, looked through the leaves and seen this stuck on the neck of this plant, they would have been obliged to not judge the plant because a plant going to show cannot have any suckers. This is part of why we do grooming and we check things. All right, now this is really a big sucker. I mean, you could pot this up just like a leaf. I mean, you could stick this in a pot and I'll have a plantlet. In fact, I might do that and we'll watch it. And there is another one over here starting. So actually, that was probably just another leaf off of that one. I can't. Oh no, here we go. Some plants are more prone to sucker than others. Another one. So that's just something to be aware of. So now as I was going along there, I found it. So let's continue taking some of these leaves off. Here, see here's a leaf. This is what's called an immature leaf. Do you see the difference between it and let's say one of these? It's lighter in color. It's not as well defined in the serration of the shape. It's served its purpose and now it's done. We don't need it on our show plant. All right, so I've taken a row off and now this one, there's no more suckers down there. Another blossom stalk though. Let's get rid of that. This plant is quite probable to move up to a 5-inch pot. I mean, this is a good size plant. A little bit dirty. And you can see we've got a little wonky leaf here. It must have got bumped. May have bumped it. Someone in the house may have bumped it. You never know. So I can right now take that leaf. Now it looks like I've left a big hole here. But these leaves will grow to fill that in, and then I have removed this damaged leaf. Now, if I was really close to show, I would not have done that. I would have taken the points off, or half a point off, for the marred leaf. But this plant has the potential to really grow and be a great plant. So I'm going to give it that. We'll let it grow. All right. Hi you guys, I'm still down in the basement and I am in my workout clothes and I just finished the footage that you've probably already seen of grooming before repotting. So now I've tried to pull this out so it looks kind of crazy down here, but this is my potting bench. Whoop, there I am. This is my potting mix. This is my coarse perlite. These are my paper towels that I need to, wash my hands. This is my light, and I think I'm going to turn it this way so that this area has a little bit better light. This is an OTT light, a portable OTT light, OTT. I actually use it a lot for beadwork. Like I can put it on my desk where I'm beading. This is my label maker, and this is the trash. So let me just, this is the plant that we have that I want to show you. This is Optimara Hawaii, lives upstairs. So let's take a look. First, I have to make a label. So that's easy enough to do. I like this label maker. I think it's great. And I said that was Optimara Hawaii. Hope I spelled that right. You push print and it comes out the other side there. You pull it off and you peel it. You peel the backing off just like that. And I know this isn't ideal, but I just wanted to try to show you my process because a lot of you have asked about it. So now I have a pot that says Optimara Hawaii. So now I need a wick. So I'm going to put a wick in here. This wick is already wet. Now it's just sitting in the bottom of the pot. I'm going to grab some coarse perlite. Make a good layer. It's about an inch thick. All right, then I'm just going to lay that wick across the perlite. Now I'm going to put dirt over that, my potting mix over the top. And I'm just going to put in 1 spoonful for now. So now, here's my plant. Here's what happens. I give the pot a good squeeze to kind of loosen it up. I grasp it with my thumbs, slides right out of the pot. And all the gloppy stuff, I hope you can see me do this. All the gloppy stuff that's on the top, you know, there's some orange looking perlite, that's fertilizer salts. This neck is still very fresh from all the leaves I took off. I'm giving it another little scrape just to be sure with my thumbnail. Now there was my original wick. That's going, and all of the perlite that was down at the bottom there, the original coarse perlite, that goes. Now, you'll remember, take a look, this is a pretty good sized root ball, but you'll remember we took a lot of leaves off of this plant. So this plant does not need all these roots anymore, all right, because it doesn't have all those leaves to support. So what I do, and I hope you can see me, I'm just laying this on the edge of my potting bench so the leaves are hanging off the bottom. And I have my X-Acto knife, and I'm cutting some of the roots right off the bottom, okay? And here's what's left. So now I'm going to just even this out a little bit. You can do it with your X-Acto knife. You can do it with a steak knife. You can do it with scissors. You can do it with whatever suits you. So now here I have a nice smaller root ball that's great for a plant this size. Now I want to set it in the pot. Well, if I set it in there, can you see that it's way down in the pot? Well, we don't want it that far down, so that means we need a little more dirt. So I'm going to put a little more in here, and now I'm going to set it right there on that dirt, and now that's looking quite a bit better. So everything is, up there, and I want to fill in. So now, just using my grandma spoon. My mother told me that grandma never had African violets, so I don't know. I just sort of feel like, she was really important to me while I was growing up, so I use one of her spoons for a lot of any kind of plant work that I do. She's who taught me how to knit. So now I'm just filling this in And I'm not pushing it down, I'm just filling it in. All right, it's centered in the pot. I'm gonna wipe off some of the dirt that I can get off right away. There we go. It's all over my hands, of course. Now, here's its saucer, and here's my squirt bottle. So now I'm going to water this in just like you water in a leaf that you put down. You water in a plant that you've repotted. Now this plant was already pretty well watered, so I'm not going to have to put nearly as much water in here as I might otherwise. That's enough. There it is. You'll be seeing it on the shelves. I'll be right back. So what did you think? Was that helpful? I hope that that was really helpful. I know that sometimes it's just easier to see somebody do something than read about it and try to visualize how to do it. Even when there are pictures in a book, sometimes I think it's easier to just see someone do that. And, you know, I'm sorry for the long view of my potting bench, but I couldn't figure out any other way to kind of show you my actual process of how that goes and how great it is to have a potting bench, because everything's right there that I need. I've got my workspace and my place for my potting mix and the coarse perlite, and then my trash right there. And actually my ex-husband made that bench for me. I did all the finish work on it, but he actually made it for me and built it. And he switched the plan so that it would be left-handed, so that all my workspace is on the right and all the stuff I reach for or reach to is on the left. And so that has been very, very helpful for me. And there are plenty of plans out there on the internet. I may have done that already, looked for some for you, but you know, you never know. It's always good to revisit something, and I'll see if I can find a few to share with you again on this episode. Well, it's time to take a look now at what's on the stands. So go take a look, and I'll be right back. Hi everybody, time to take a look at what's on the stands. Up here in the guest room, everybody's growing. Up to our little Wichita girl is wanting to bloom, and so is Chiffon Masquerade. You see that in there? Little bloom stalk. Shadow Magic needing regular turns here. Gala Pink needs a turn. It's also wanting to bloom. Some of my Kent Stork plants on the second shelf. Let's walk over, back up to the top shelf. Here is Blueberry Sprite. Now, this is looking closer to the original blossom, but I can see on this next blossom that wants to open up that there's looks to be still some pink. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see and keep watching. And little Wichita girl just wants to bloom. And here's Powwow, needs a turn. There we go. Let's take a look down here. And finally, Buckeye Celebrity Status is blooming. I will look that one up and see if it's blooming true. Here's my Optimara Hawaii. And Elsie, mine is Optimara Hawaii, not Optimara Hawaii 2. At least that's what my notes say. I'm going to have to look at it more carefully when it blooms again. Here is Fisherman's Paradise. It's still reaching up, and I'm not sure what's up with that. Let's walk around here. Take a look on this side. This is Santee Sue, I believe. A little crooked looking. And this is another Russian variety, Obeyetzia Zima Obeyetzia, I think. Yeah. It really needs to get potted into a bigger pot. Looks like it's going to be a very large plant. Let's go take a look in the basement. Well, here we are down in the basement, and I've got something to show you here, something that's blooming. This is called moonray, or moon rays. I have to look it up again. Both plants are blooming, and it's I believe a semi-double. And so far, it's looking pretty good. Kind of excited about that one. Uh-oh, somebody needs a drink here. Better get cracking. They must not have gotten a drink when they needed it. And this is Baby Brian, a trailer that I got at National, and it looks like it wants to bloom. Now let's take a look down here on the second shelf. Here is Beauteous. This is a trailer with a girl leaf, and I don't know what it's going to be like. It's probably going to be unruly, but it is going to bloom here, so I'm going to let it, and we'll see what it looks like. Now, here is Yesterday's Child, and Yesterday's Valentine, and it's looking like it wants to bloom. Everybody is ready for a drink down here, I think. And take a look at this strap. This is Party Pinafore. It's a stunner, isn't it? Wow. Wow. As I'm looking at the monitor, it looks blue, but it is really lavender. It is definitely lavender. So now, and hey, take a look at this acacia that my friend Julie gave me. It is really starting to grow. And it doesn't look too horrible. It's got a couple leaves that can come off there, but kind of excited that I haven't croaked it yet. And since you guys know my track record with acacias, and it's looking pretty good. Okay, let's come back up here. Take a little look. Okay, everybody looking pretty good here. Uh-oh, we lost one. What's this? Oh, this was Greg. This was a leaf that was given to me by Meredith Hall. I'm sorry to have lost that one. Here's the little roulette. See it there? It hasn't died. It's trying to go. These are the blossom stalks from Buckeye Lost Love. Not sure how that's going to go. Here's our challenge plant from Cara Lee, Ma's Winter Moon. So far, so good. And other than Greg, everything looking pretty good in here. And let's just take a quick look over here. And everybody looking pretty good in here too. Okay, now let's go over and take a look at the Streptocarpus shelf. Here comes Heartland's White Gold. Already blooming, just gorgeous, and a ton of bloom stalks coming. Kind of excited about this one, you guys. Here's Dale's Polar Berry. Looking good. Everybody else just kind of growing, doing their thing. Let's go upstairs. Well, here we are up in the sunroom. Got lots of things just getting ready to open up. This is Autumn Blues. This is Champagne Pink. Both of those. This is Potselia Rusalski. Can't wait to see that one. And I gotta show you this close up. I hope you can see it. This is Granger's Peach Frost. What a stunner. I let it go. I let it bloom because it is so beautiful. I mean, wow, look at that blossom. I mean, it's really something. And good news, check out Cherry Cola. That is definitely a double blossom. So, and look at how many buds there are on these blossom stalks. So cross your fingers, guys. I'm glad I held off on this one. I think I'm going to let it bloom and then I'll repot it. I'm very excited about it. Second shelf. All right, so far so good with the Ascananthus. Although Joyce told me I should have cut this off closer to the bottom leaves, so I may give this one another haircut. But she said this should root in here, and I mean, they haven't died, so yay, yay. And I had a little accident with my Texas hot chili. Can you see? There's my legs, sorry. Down there on the floor. It fell off the shelf, you guys. It just went floop and it fell over, which is telling me that it needs to be in a slightly larger pot. It's rare to see this in a bigger than 3-inch pot, so I've had it grow to a 4-inch pot one other time, so I'm going to pot it up the next time I do some repotting. And let's take a look down here. Now, here's one I know you're going to be interested in. Here's Rob's Wagga Wagga from last week. And can you see that already some of those leaves that were curled up are opening? Now I can see some things that are just sort of sitting here and that probably need to go, that I didn't get pulled off all the way last time. But this is already looking really good. There are some of these larger leaves probably need to go. I just sort of decided to wait and let it get reacclimated to being so much smaller, but it's doing really quite well. I know it looks a little raggedy, but when you think about what it looked like last week and what it looks like this week, I think you'll agree with me that it's looking pretty darn good. Here is Optimara, Michigan. And you can still kind of see where I took that one leaf, but it's already filling that spot in, as you can tell. And let's go around one more time. Here's Western Moon, and here is Roulette. And then one quick look on this side at the Calumnias. Both of them doing pretty darn good. Let's go take a look at the big box violet. I know it's kind of sad to see it without all of its blossoms, but it's just hanging out here and it's looking pretty darn good. That's the look at what's on the stands this week. I'll be right back. So how about that Streptocarpus, that party pinafore? Isn't it amazing? It's just beautiful. And when I was at National, Jan Davidson, who sells a lot of Hortense Pittman's plants and also sells Sundown Pittman's new strep crosses, his strep cultivars, she mentioned to me that he used party pinafore in a lot of his crosses. So I'm excited to see the other 2 or 3 that I have from him. I'm excited to see what they look like once they bloom. It's going to be exciting. So, and what about, I mean, I'm just here, so I'm going to reach up for it because it's right here and I haven't just budded it yet. Here's Granger's Granger's Peach Frost, and it, I mean, isn't it those copper tips at the top? I mean, these great big blossoms. Isn't this is still in just a little solo cup. I'm so excited about this one. I think this is going to be really a stunner when it gets going here. And pretty happy about Cherry Cola too, that it bloomed double the way it was supposed to. Yay! So that was very exciting. So you know what? It's time to get the bail money ready. And what I have to share with you about bail money this week isn't really bail money, but this was shared on the AV Nerds group, which is, you know, a lot of people on there doing a lot of stuff, doing a lot of talking. It's a great place on Facebook to kind of hang out. And Elsie Maxwell had posted this, and he got this, he said he's not a member of the Vintage Violets Committee, but he posted this and I'll just read it to you. Barbara Elkin, the chair of ABSA's Vintage Violet Committee, is looking to compile a new list of growers who have vintage violets. She will use the list to link a person up with growers on the list whenever a person writes to her asking for a certain vintage variety. She has been trying to update the list for a few years, but she's not had a lot of feedback from growers. So if you would all email Barbara, and then I will put her email in a way that she won't get spam. I'll put it on the website so that you guys can grab it. if you would email Barbara with a list of vintage violets that you are growing. And as a reminder, vintage violets are plants that have been around for 25 years or more. So it would be great if she was able to have a new vintage violets list. Many vintage violets are not available from the commercial vendors, so it would be sad to lose them. And as Elsie said, I'm not on the committee either. I'm not on the committee, but I thought I would spread the word. Feel free to forward this to whomever you wish. So if you are growing any vintage varieties, just shoot an email to Barbara and let her know what you're growing. That way she kind of keeps track of who's got what, and if somebody writes her looking for a certain variety, as the note said, she tries to match them up. So that we keep some of these great plants going that are not as common as they used to be. So I've got my share of vintage ones here. I'm going to have to send her an email myself. Well, the other thing I want to share with you is iTunes is fixed. Holy smokes, what a crazy mess it was. The feed for iTunes is now working. For some of you, you may have to unsubscribe and resubscribe to the podcast now. I don't really know why, but it seems to be that some people have to do that. I know the episodes are there. They've all rolled over. One thing, though, is that the way that WordPress, which is the new server host for all the episodes, the way it works with iTunes is that it will not forward any more than 50 episodes of anything at any time. So the older episodes are going to drop off of iTunes, but they will always be available on the website. So I know some of you who are newer to the podcast have gone back and started to watch some of the older episodes. Sometimes you just want to go back and look at an older one for some info that you might want. Remember that there is an index page, an episode index on the website. It's one of the tabs up at the top, and you can click on that, and I try to update that every 7 to 10 episodes or so to keep that current so that there is always a link there. And all those links were updated when I had to move off the old server as well. So you will still be able to access even the oldest episodes, even episode 1 if you want to see the whole story of Get the Bail Money Ready. You can see it. You just have to watch it probably on the website now rather than through iTunes. So I just have to share this one last thing with you guys, and then we'll be done. But I just love that so many of you really have grabbed a hold of the whole concept of limit your collection. You left a lot of comments about that on the anniversary episode, and how much it has meant to you, and how many of you have really taken it to heart and you're limiting your collection. When I lost a leaf of Greg, as you saw on the Look at What's on the Stands this week, and I lost that one, so that dropped me under 100 varieties. So I have 99 varieties right now, and it's and it will continue to go down. I will continue to cull my collection until it becomes more and more manageable. It's a little wild right now. And I'm a little worried about it, only because I'm going to be out of town again in a few weeks, and because it's summer, I'm going to have to put everything on reservoirs, and my cousin will come over and fill them up for me at least once while I'm away. That always seems to work really well. It's very helpful of her. Anyway, so I'll document that process for you so you see how that works as well. Well, you guys, it's time to keep moving forward, and I do want to thank you all again for visiting me this week and for coming back every week and for telling your friends and sharing the podcast with them. We're over 260 likes on Facebook, which is really awesome because it went from like 200 to 260 in a really short period of time. So thank you guys. It's really great of you. Let me just make sure that I didn't miss anything else that I wanted to tell you. No, I think I'm good. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope that your days are filled with all the things you love. Good growing. I'll see you next time.